Hello, you wonderful people, and welcome to another episode of Crime Centric. This being a show where I talk about crime dramas that I watch. For today's episode, I'm going to talk about the latest episode of In the Dark, a fantastic episode. A lot of really interesting things went down in this episode, so let's break it down. This was actually kind of pretty tense episode, because just the fact of the matter is, yes, we know the end results, but it's like the journey getting there is still just kind of like, wait, you know, because there were so many like twists and turns of development. You're like, where's this going to go? Because yes, we know Felix and Murphy made it out of this, but there's other characters that are like, well, what's their situation going to be at the end of the episode? We'll get to it. So first and foremost, there's a whole situation with Max and Murphy. Obviously, like at first they're kind of like catching up a little bit, but at the same time, he's immediately jumping to the whole thing of like, yeah, so about this Nia situation, he kept pushing her for it. She's like, you're acting weird. He's like, I mean, prison changed me. She's like, you totally didn't say that. It's like, yeah, I know, I regretted the moment. So it's like, oh, okay, I guess he got her off guard. I was like, oh, please don't say anything incriminating. But she does. She brings up the whole Nia situation and bringing up that the heroine's at Guiding Hope. The fact that she plans on giving it to Josiah to kind of screw over Nia. But then, like, she even admits the whole Josh situation because he figured it like, yeah, you know, it's like, oh, like, the fact is you're just getting home. It's like, just because you ended up, like he was like, I'm not holding it against you, like, you know, that you didn't stop banging random dudes or whatever. But the fact of the matter is, she brings up the fact that Josh isn't just some random dude. There's actually some feelings there. Even though it seemed like at first you were just using him for information, no, you legitimately like him. But the fact of the matter is, when it's all said and done, though, like, Max is just like, yeah. So about how you started working with Nia, she's like, I literally just told you I have feelings for some other dude, and you're just going to be like, what? She's like, what's up with you? And then she pieces it together, and she starts searching him, and then she's like, hey, Dean, what's up? Because she knew it could be no one else but Dean, so screws up the plan. She kicks Max out, which obviously, you know, Dean's still kind of like, yeah, she might not have admitted everything, but she gave us enough that we could get a warrant, and this would be a done deal. And my immediate thought was, I was thinking like, oh, Max, he obviously did it on purpose. Like, the fact is, because the way he was just handling it, I was like, it's very amateur of you to handle things the way you did. Oh, it turns out, never mind. It's because, which I'm like, I mean, to be fair, we never fully saw those situations when he was kind of like secretly like narking against, you know, Nia, like before, like we never really saw that, so we don't know how but I mean, anytime he was talking to Darnell, it seemed like he was cool, calm, and collected. It's like, you seem, I guess to be fair, it's a little different. Yeah, Darnell's your boy, but this is the girl that you're in love with, so it's a little bit different because you're doing stuff that's going to incriminate her. Yes, but I guess for him, he's in such a rush to like take Nia down because doing all this will help, you know, Murphy in the long run, so I guess that's a justification for it. But regardless of all of that, I just thought like, but I was thinking, oh, he did it on purpose, but it's like, no, it seems like, no, he was just terrible. Like, but once again, he's in such a rush to get Murphy out of this situation that he did that. He comes back, sadly, she's gone. Jean is supposed to go to, you know, Guiding Hope to keep an eye on things just in case, you know, they decide to move to drugs. Dean's setting up for that warrant, and the chief was like, no. And he's like, what? Because the chief was like, I told you to stay away from this Nia situation. I even told you to stay away from Murphy. The fact of the matter is, there's nothing here. You were supposed to bring me Nia. You failed at that. Clear out your desk. I was like, wow. Part of me is like, it's not full justice. In no shape or form is it. But it's like, you're at least like, hey, things aren't working out for Dean. So you're kind of like, yeah, he's kind of getting what he deserves. At the same time, Gene's keeping an eye out, Guiding Hope. He calls up Dean about the warrant and everything, but Dean's like, yeah, I kind of got fired. And then Gene's like, man, that sucks. Yeah, things didn't work out all the time, but it's like, you're a damn good cop. You're like, ugh. He's like, you're a great guy or something like that. You're just like, ugh. It's just like every compliment he's giving Dean, you kind of feel a little sick about it. You're just like, oh, come on. It's like, sadly, Gene, you don't know how much of a piece of crap Dean is, you know? So at the same time, like, you have Murphy and Felix on the inside trying to find out, okay, so how do we handle this situation? They try to call Josiah. It's like, yeah, we need your people to pick it up tonight. He's like, nope, you want to drop it off to it? You have to do it yourself. It's like, wait, what? Damn it, we can't do that. The cops might be on their way. Like, we can't be the ones transporting this. So it's like, what do we do? And especially because there's a whole Nia situation of like, there's cameras down there. There's probably someone watching it all the time. We can't just go down there and steal it. It's like, you know, he's like, I don't know. Josiah might have some people who can loop the cameras or something like that. And then he decides, why don't I try it myself? And he does it. And it's like, I even love Murphy. Like, wait, you can really do that. I forgot what movie. It was some movie he referenced. He's like, have you ever seen so and so? But and let's not forget, Felix might seem like he's this awkward idiot, but he's actually fairly smart. So he was able to kind of fix it. They're able to kind of start picking loading up the drugs. Max showed up, and it's just like, okay, yeah, also there's a cop outside waiting, so it's like, what do we do? The moment we take off, he's going to follow us. Max and Murphy had their like back and forth, because obviously for Max, it's like everything he did was for her sake. It's for her. It's like, yeah, I get it. The fact of the matter is you want to protect me. I get it. Like, it was my immunity and stuff like that, but it's like, the fact of the matter is she's like, I was almost done with this until you screwed up my plan. 24 hours, this would have been all been done. And that's, once again, the message of this season of like, not everyone telling everyone everything. To be fair, she wasn't really in a position to really tell Max everything regardless. I mean, she couldn't really get in contact with him at the time. So it's just that thing of just that missed window of opportunity is such a great thing about this show, where it's just kind of like, it's like, obviously, because for Max, he's like, oh, like the fact is you can do whatever, make any sacrifices, do whatever you need to save me. But when the shoe's on the other foot, I can't do the same thing for you. So it's like, at the same time, it comes from a place of obviously Max cares, but I'm sure it also comes from a place of also, you're still making a deal with the dude that killed one of her best friends. So it's like, that's still going to always be a hard pill to swallow, because he's like, I knew you weren't going to work with Dean, so I did. She's like, yeah, you're right. I was never going to work with Dean. Can't trust him. It's like, yeah, I don't trust him either. That's why I got it in writing. She's like, oh, that's great. She's like, so the fact of the matter is you got an immunity deal for me, but what about Felix? Max is quiet. She's like, yeah, so that means all of this is going to fall on Felix. She's like, I'm not going to let that happen, because there's a whole conversation about him trying to help and stuff like that. And she's like, no, we got this. We don't need your help. And Felix is like, actually, we could use your help. Also, I love that while this is all going down, of like how in control of this situation, even though things spiraled out, it's like, it's all your fault that things are messed up, but we got some control. And then like, you see Ben waking up from his high, and he's like, yo, and he just walks out, and then Murphy's like, Ben, why are you here? And he's just like, oh yeah. He's like, wow, I thought you guys were just doing dime bags. You got all these drugs? He's like, okay. And he's walking away. So I'm like, yeah, he already knows all that. It's like, yeah, you probably didn't want to take the time to really explain that he's blackmailing you, so that's why he knows everything that he knows. But regardless of all that, I was like, dude, this is such an interesting situation. So it's like, okay, so how are we going to avoid the whole Gene situation? It's like, well, they've got dog food, so they're going to, I was like, all right, so you're going to put it inside. I was like, how are you going to handle this? Well, we'll circle back to that. At the same time, yeah, Dean got fired, but he sneaks back in, he starts pulling off files. I'm like, what are you going to do with that? I was like, are you going to do what I think? Lo and behold, shows up in front of Nia. I was like, you double-crossing, two-timing scumbag. Once again, he wants to parade it around like, oh, I'm a good guy. Like, I'm a good cop. It's like, given the opportunity, you're going to do whatever it takes to survive, because everything he does, since the beginning, it's always been clear that everything he's done has been for self-preservation. But it's just like, at no point at this point can you claim that it's for any, but he'll probably still be like, I do whatever I have to for the sake of my daughter. It's like, no, it's for the sake of you, so that you can get away with everything. Because the fact of the matter is, let's not forget, once again, he doesn't have any money to really support the family, so he needs the money. So he's making a deal. It's like, all right, here are some people, like, this is all like the feds and stuff like that, the IRS, the DEA, this is all they have on you. This way you know what's coming and you can move stuff. It's like, all right, good. Yeah. On top of that, also, here's a recording of Murphy. Yep, she's going to screw you over. I was like, I knew it. I was like, damn it. And then it's like, Nia's like, I'm going to kill that bitch. And for a second, if you look, there's a second where there's a point where Dean kind of looks down. I'm like, you actually feel bad. Because you know that Murphy's never been, like, the only reason why Murphy pisses you off is because you realize, for one, she had sex with you in the ends of means to get you to admit all that stuff about Tyson, and she was going to take you down, ruin your life, destroy you. Rightfully so. But the fact of the matter is, there's still a part of me that cares about her. Also, well, even besides all that, it's like, well, there's the aspect of her being Chloe's friend, despite how complicated that is. But it's also the thing of like, Murphy's not a bad person. He's the bad person in this situation. So even he admits, like, I think for like I said, for a split second, I think he feels bad, because it's like, yeah, she doesn't kind of deserve to die. She's been a thorn on my side. Maybe that's extra reason for her to die. I don't know, but it just seemed like there was guilt there for a second about like, oh, she's going to die. I'm kind of signing her death warrant. Literally, like, to be fair, we already know he has no loyalty. Once again, he killed his own partner. So, that was always the thing about another reason why you should never trust Dean. So it's a situation of like, okay, so, and it's like, all right, so is there any cops watching? He's like, yeah, just my partner Dean. It's like, Gene, can we take him? My boys take him. And it's like, I was like, what are you gonna say? What are you gonna say, Dean? And he's like, yeah. I was like, you sold. After all that shit Gene said about you also being a good friend to him and stuff like that, even though you kind of treat him like shit sometimes. The fact of the matter is, he said all those compliments. You were willing to let, once again, why am I saying that with surprise? Going back to the statement I literally said 15 seconds ago, probably more like 20 or 30. But the fact of the matter is, you set up your own partner to get killed by Nia, so why would it be any different with Gene? Gene is super lucky. Once again, just things working out, in his benefit, because they left when they did. He decides to follow them because he's like, oh, these guys are idiots. They think I'm stupid. All right, thinking just because I see them loading dog food, I don't know what it is. And he follows them. Luckily, because he did that, by the time Nia's people showed up, yeah, the drugs were going, but Gene wasn't outside. So if it wasn't for them, he'd be dead right now. His partner put him in that position. And it's like, dude, I was like, once again, the show that I always compare this to is Ozark, once again, because they make that comparison, but also because it always has that like things almost go right, but they go wrong. But even when they go wrong, things kind of like, it's always just kind of like I said, near misses in both the success and failure department. That's a very Ozark thing. And I guess, I recently went back and watched Breaking Bad. Breaking Bad kind of definitely has that little margin of success and error. Like, it's just such a small window in certain regards, but nevertheless, Gene pulls him over and stuff like that. I even love Felix calling the cops and be like, oh, we're feeling unsafe. We don't know if this is actually a cop following us. And it's just like, oh yeah, they'll keep driving till they end up in a safe place. And Gene's like, what? Nothing ever goes down in this neighborhood. This, of course, is a safe place. He ends up, stopping them. They pull over. He breaks the headlights. It's a headlight. Felix lets him in the back, and it turns out just to be dog food. So he's like, where is it? And they're like, we have no idea what you're talking about. So Gene has no choice but to leave. So now it's a situation of, we found out where the drugs were. It's like, oh, Ben took them. It's like, oh yeah, getting Ben involved in them. Immediately the moment Ben has the drugs, I'm like, remember what they said. I can't believe Ben did this. And Murphy said, I can. So I was like, he's about to take the drugs for himself. It's like, but at the same time, it's like, all right, so Ben, tell us where you're at. Meet you at the arcade. He's like, I'm not at the arcade. What? He eventually admits that he's at Chelsea's bar, because it's like the bar that Chelsea works at, because he's like, Chelsea gave me a key and everything. But it's also the thing of like, why would you do that? Because he's like, oh, like all these drugs have to be worth like millions. The fact of the matter is, what was it, like the 3,000 or whatever that he's getting? He's like, I want more. See, the crazy thing is, also, like, there's a part of me that's like, he was like 5. I was like, are you going to say 5 million? He's like 500,000. I was like, that felt like it was kind of a little lowballing. Because I guess, like, to be fair, it's like he said it's worth like, I think he said it was like at least worth, it had to be worth like, he said millions, not just like a million. I mean, he wouldn't really know the grand scale of like the worth and everything. But part of me is like, isn't that kind of I mean, I guess like you don't want to get too greedy, but it's like you're blackmailing people. Why not? I guess you're thinking if you go too high, they're less likely to pay you. Whatever the case may be, he's like, I love Murphy trying to tell him too, these are not people you mess with. This isn't a gang. These people. And he's like, yeah, but obviously, blah, blah, blah. It's like, oh, I was like, oh, and then immediately this is happening. I was like, they're the reason why you're dead, aren't they? They're going to show up and they're going to kill you, aren't you? Oh, I was like, oh, because you were greedy. It's like, damn it, Ben. And I love this turns into an argument between Felix and Murphy about just, she's like, I can't believe I went with your stupid plan. He's like, it worked. She's like, it didn't work because we gave him to a drug addict. And he was like, I mean, to be fair, it's like Josiah's drugs to a drug addict. He's like, well, technically they're still Nia's drugs. And just Max is just sitting there just kind of listening and just like the back and forth. And then it's like, but the fact of the matter is, it's like, actually let's go back to the fact that this is, because Max is like, I suggest that we burn down Guiding Hope, which obviously Felix isn't going to like that, because obviously that's that's his place. But also it's like, she would never be okay with it, considering what Guiding Hope represents to her family, her parents, So it's like, obviously she wouldn't let that happen either. But it's like, you don't really get a vote. And we kind of only let you have a vote because of, so-and-so. And he's just like, yeah, because he's like, if we were to take this back, it's actually your fault, Max. He's like, actually, we took this further back. It's actually your fault for stealing my money in the first place. And almost like, you have Murphy almost defending him, be like, almost like, shut up. Don't you dare like say that to Felix. So it's like, it's almost like she was getting pissed at Felix, but at the same time she's pissed at him. So it's like, no, you have no right. But then home dude shows up who works for Nia, shoots at them, and shoots out their tire and everything when they were trying to get away. And so it's like, all right, show me where the drug. And Murphy's not stupid. She's like, I know the moment I tell you, you're just going to kill us. So he's like, I can make this. She's like, I can make this right. So lo and behold, they take this whole situation to like he's gonna let them lead him to the drugs and everything. I even love Felix having to be like, oh hey, it's you again. Last time I saw you, you were trying to drown me in the toilet, beating the shit out of me and drowning me in the toilet. But it was even kind of sweet because on their way there, you see like Mac's hands reach over, and so does Murph. Like, it's a thing of like, despite all the arguing, like they still care about each other, especially because this is a moment where they can end up being dead. At the same time, Trey's at the arcade with some boys and being like, yeah, they're not here. I think they double-crossed you. Josiah's pissed, so you're like, okay, so this literally went wrong on every level because not only does Nia know about you, the situation, she wants you dead, now Josiah thinks you betrayed him and he wants you dead. So it's like, okay, that's bad enough. So, and then we have Ben doing his thing, and literally the entire time I was tensed up because I was like, oh man, like while he's dancing and performing and playing the drums and, you know, lip syncing and everything else, someone's going to shoot him, and then he pulls out the drug, the heroin. I'm like, you overdosed. I was like, please tell me either you overdosed, because I was trying to think for a second. I was like, is it actually that you're not dead, it's just that you passed out on the floor from the drugs, or is it that you just straight up overdosed? But then we find out like, oh no, he straight up literally overdosed on it and hit his head, and that's how he died. I was like, wow, they didn't even kill you. I mean, technically they did because it was Nia's drugs, but regardless, it's like, wow, self-destruction ended up being the end of that. I was like, wow, that's not where I thought that. I was like, once again, interesting twist. They show up there and it's like, oh, he's dead. Well, and lo and behold, who's not too far behind Nia? It's like, she's like, oh, you thought I was going to trust you with some deal? Like, I know not to trust you. And she's like, whoa, is that the guy who took the drugs? Yeah. Tell me you got the information before he killed him. He died. And it's like, nope. And it's like, okay, you take Felix and Max, because both of them were like, it's my fault. And Felix says, I know it's my fault. And it's like, oh, I'll deal with you too soon enough. We're going to have this one-on-one conversation between me and Murphy. I was like, oh, this isn't good. She's like, oh, here's a shot and everything. I was like, oh, dude, where's this going to go? And then she starts beating the shit out of Murphy. I was like, oh, dude. Because Murphy kind of cleaned herself up. And so I was under the assumption, like, the blood that was on her, like, because I can't remember at the very beginning of the season where, like, we saw her, because, like, Neil was messing her up bad, dude. And it just, because it immediately makes, and I think maybe this is also what they're supposed to be kind of, like, almost, like, signifying to a certain extent. The way Nia's beating her up, very reminiscent to the person that Tyson saved, Murphy from, you know, that's how they became best friends and everything, right? So I think it was supposed to be a little reminiscent, and I was like, okay, we know that someone ends up dead. I was like, someone's going to show up at the last second. I was like, is it going to be, you know, Josiah's people? Is it going to be Darnell? I also love the same time, it's like, where the hell is Sam? That plays an important role. We'll get to that in a second. But obviously, she goes to her dude, is like, give me your gun. I want to kill Murphy myself. They're begging him not to, begging Nia not to. Even Murphy's doing it. And just like, bam, bam, bam. And it's like, what happened? It's like, I was like, Nia got shot, but who did it? They go back and reveal fucking Jess. I was like, what? That right there, that moment, I was like, wait. Never in a million years did it cross my mind to think it was Jess. I was like, okay, we know next episode is going to be that episode explaining like how the hell Jess went from being with Sterling to here. My immediate thought is, Sam tracked him down. That's why Sam isn't around. Sam's too busy dealing with the whole Sterling thing. So either the fact, which immediately my brain is like, is Sam dead? Did Sterling have to kill Sam to protect Jess? Or is that like, I don't know. I was like, oh, whatever the case may be, like, it must have been a situation where, or something happened where Jess was like, wait, because remember, because Sam wasn't even there during that whole reveal. It was like, you know, Nia's other right hand, well, left hand, whatever you want to, that dude, like, he was there. So it's like, holy shit. So, which begs the question, which body was that getting wrapped up? Was that Home Dude's, or was that Nia's, or was that Ben's body? It could have been everybody. That means there's going to be at least 3 bodies that needed to be disposed of. Nia's, Ben's, and dude, I mean, not unless we could. I mean, could they could set it up to be like, well, the fact is they don't necessarily have to like remove his body. They just have to make it so that it looks like he overdosed and hit his head, so they don't really have to do too. I know that's fucked up to say, but it's like they might be able to just leave that as is. I don't know. He has a key to Chelsea's place, so it could just be like, I don't know. Which the moment that turns out, I'm curious to see what Dean's reaction going to be like. Wait, what? You know, it's like when that's all said and done, especially because now the Nia situation's removed. It's like, but now they still have to worry about the Josiah thing. Hopefully Sam is taken care of, because if Sam isn't, like, this is going to be bad. But circling back to it, that has to mean that Sterling had to either, like I say, either Sam showed up and Sterling was forced to be like, because it was, dude, it's too much. Like, it's all got to, like, the entirety of next episode's got to be like, okay, what they're doing presently, and then we're going to rewind time to be like, what's happened between it's like going to be probably like, 24, 36 hours earlier or something like that, showing us everything with Jess. I'm assuming. I haven't seen the previews. I don't want to. Dude, this is going, holy shit. And also, like, once again, it's very befitting, because once again, who saved Murphy when she was getting beat up before? Tyson, one of her best friends, and of course her other best friend would come to save her in a situation like this. So I thought it was just, like I said, it's almost like very like interesting. So this also puts a damper in Dean's whole thing, because Dean was going to work with Nia, but now she's taken care of and everything. It's like, this is going to be interesting to see how now they're all complicit. So it's like we're kind of all in this together. Let's also not forget. Oh, I just thought about it too. Despite everything, that's Darnell's sister. I don't know how happy he's going to be about the fact that but to be fair, it's like, well, you killed the woman I love, you know, the whole Joel situation. So I was like, I don't know what to think, man. And truth be told, it doesn't matter. I'm just so excited to see where all of this goes next episode, where it's going to take us. We've only got because this was episode 10, I think. Yes. So there's only supposed to be 3 episodes left in this. I don't think this show was cut short by everything that's going on. I think it's going to have the full. I could be mistaken, but it should only be 3 episodes left. Once again, I didn't see the preview, so I would assume so. But regardless, I'm very excited to see what happens. But really, that's all I want to talk about. Till the next time we meet, be happy, be safe, live life to the fullest, and enjoy it. Good day and goodbye.